Let's call this video the 400 Club. The reason I'm calling it that is they're all $400. So let's see how they compare. So on the far left, we have the Yamaha DBR10. In the middle, Mackie Thump Go. And on the far right, JBL Partybox 110. So let's get this right off the bat. Let's get this out of the way. I don't want to hear anybody comment apples and oranges. Some guy keeps writing that to me. I'm going to make it very clear. I realize some of these speakers are battery powered, some are AC powered, and you have advantages for each. Obviously, with battery power, you can go anywhere. But AC, the advantage is you have much more headroom, much more power. So that's why people are saying you can't compare them. But I'm going to compare them because people shop often by price only. So let's do that today, shopping by the $400 budget. This is really as low as you're going to go. So Yamaha DBR10, it is AC only. Mackie Thump Go, battery powered. You can remove the battery. That's important. JBL Partybox 110, also battery powered, but the battery is not removable. So that's a definite factor that you have to keep in mind. The Mackie Thump Go, you can buy a spare battery and you can hot swap it really quickly. That's a great advantage. So one of the reasons why I don't feel like this is apples and oranges, such a great deal breaker, because one is AC and the other is battery powered, I want to stress that for the non-battery powered speaker, the Yamaha DBR10, it's very easy and pretty economical to get a external battery source. And that's what I have on the far left. It's called the Grand Maya from Amazon for $180. So for $180, and it's only 5 pounds, it's nothing to worry about as far as adding extra weight to your gig bag. You can make the Yamaha into a battery powered solution, and that little 330 watt battery power, external battery power, will last, I don't know, I've never actually done the test, but a minimum of 4 hours, probably 5 or 6. The Yamaha has been out for a number of years, so the Mackie is probably the newest of the bunch, and the JBL. So what you're getting with the newer technology that the Yamaha lacks is Bluetooth. Yamaha does not have Bluetooth, and any kind of reverb. So again, if you're a gigging musician, a duo, the reverb is very important. That could be a deal breaker right there. But then again, acoustic guitarists, they often carry some type of pedal. Often that pedal has reverb, or they often carry a little mixer. And I'm thinking of a little Yamaha 06 mixer that's very popular. Personally, for me, weight and form factor is very important. I often find I have a number of speakers, and I often pick up the latest one because it's just so simple. Of course, when you're playing a gig or a party, then weight shouldn't really be a factor. So on the lightest speaker here is the Mackie in the middle at 18 pounds, very manageable. Next is the Yamaha DBR, 23 pounds, and right with it is the JBL at 24 pounds. But I find the JBL, and it's obviously bigger than the Yamaha, I just find it's kind of ungainly. It's of the three, it's the one I would pick up the last. Okay, of course, the Mackie is the quickest and lightest. I mentioned Bluetooth. The Mackie has the latest Bluetooth 5.0. And I want to mention that the JBL also has Bluetooth. They're both excellent as far as connection and distance. But the JBL, I really like the fact that as soon as you use your tablet or phone or whatever your source is, the Bluetooth loads up right away. The Mackie, you have to go through the settings and pair it and everything else. So it's really a time saver on the JBL. Also, the JBL has a 7-year warranty, which is excellent. The Mackie has your normal warranty, probably 3 years. And the Yamaha has been famous for all these years for also having a 7-year warranty. Actually, I think you got to check that. I might be wrong about the JBL. I know their Eon series is 7 years, but I'm not sure about the Partybox. It probably isn't. Probably it's just the Eon. So as far as the warranty on the JBL, it might be your normal 3 years. I don't know. I'm not sure. Another reason why I'm reviewing these speakers together, apples and oranges again, getting back to that, battery powered speakers being mixed and compared with AC only power speakers. And that is the fact that many of my viewers have different needs, okay? So for example, obviously the Partybox speaker is a speaker for small parties. Mackie Thump Go is your smallest, so it might be your something that would be used in a mobile situation. DJs are using it for ceremonies. And the DBR10 is, I would say, it's your beginning budget DJ speaker. And we'll talk about volume later. So these speakers have very different sound signatures and different applications. So let's talk about sound, because that's probably the most important thing in my book. Let's start with the JBL. JBL is a very hi-fi sounding speaker. I call it full range. It has a nice high end, and it has the best bass here. They're known for their bass, the Partybox, and it really is kind of like a mini subwoofer. The Mackie in the middle has the best high end, very clean high end, and it stays clean at high volumes. If you have QSC, it's kind of a very similar sound signature. EV, the same thing. All these speakers have a very clean high end. Some people say it's fatiguing when it gets loud. I really like the high end clarity. Yamaha is kind of the opposite. It has a very mid-range heavy sound. It has a 10-inch woofer, where the Mackie has an 8-inch woofer. So you have more of a mid-range and you have more bass. But the bass isn't anything like the JBL. So, and the high end is not like the other two, and especially not like the Mackie. So I have found in my quest with portable PA, you can't have anything. There is no speaker out there that has excellent high end, excellent mid-range, and excellent bass. It's just not out there. So you really have to decide the sound signature you prefer. The Mackie, if you add a subwoofer, then it becomes an excellent, very highly recommended full range system, but it really needs a sub in my opinion. Not so much on the Yamaha. Yamaha is pretty good. It has some nice high end, and if you use a mixer, which you should, I'll talk about that in a little while, you can EQ some of that missing high end and bring it up, and it has the best bass, as I mentioned. Again, it still needs a subwoofer, but if you're going to run one speaker by itself, I would say the Yamaha would be my solution. Getting back to the fact that the Yamaha is an older speaker, been out for many years, it does not have any kind of app. The Mackie has an app, and so does the JBL. Of the two, I would prefer the Mackie app. It's pretty good. It has your basic high-end, low-end EQ, but I like the fact that it has a mute function, which the JBL doesn't have. But they both have an app. Yamaha does not. All three of these speakers can be pole mounted, and when you're playing in front of an audience, you definitely want to get them off the floor, up at ear level, to project sound at a greater distance. But the Yamaha and the Mackie are musicians, geared to musicians. They have more inputs for instruments. And the number one thing I would say would be a deal breaker as far as musicians, and both of these speakers can be used in the monitor position where the JBL cannot. For some of my viewers who have seen my past videos, you might be confused and thought, didn't I have the Yamaha DBR10 in the past? I did a video about it, and I sold it. It was one of the few speakers I sold, and that is correct. And I just want to say right now that I was wrong. When I tested that speaker, I lined out from the RCA hardwired into my tablet or phone, and that's how I did my testing. And my conclusion was it just wasn't loud enough. But this speaker is made to be used with a mixer to get the full performance. So I repurchased it at a loss. When I purchased it originally, it was like, I don't know, it was a really great deal. So I spent a little more the second time around, but the second time around I used a mixer, and then the performance was 100% better. It had all the headroom that the specs list that I was surprised I didn't get the first time around, and that's the main reason why I returned it. I also returned it because it was a mid-heavy speaker as far as sound signature, and I didn't really need that. I was looking for more clarity, but in the present time, I am using this Yamaha with the nice smooth mids, and I'm pairing it up with some of my speakers that have a really clean high end, like the Mackie or the QSC, and I'm kind of making a little system like that sounds really great, full range with a subwoofer. I'll do a video about that in the near future. So besides price, which could be the most important or the deciding factor, that's why people might be watching this video, budget $400 PA speakers or party speakers. You can't get much lower than that. I know if you get like a JBL Flip or something, it's already a couple of $100. So this Partybox is very popular for the performance. But besides Bluetooth, reverb, price, sound signature, obviously, what's very, very important to me is dynamics or headroom. And let's call that max volume. So a great downside of the JBL is it really sounds great for what it can do. They call it a party speaker, but I'm going to tell you the truth. I wouldn't have many people over and pull out that JBL 110. Maybe 30 people, not much more than that. And the reason is when I test my speakers for Max DB, I really don't go by the manufacturer's specs. I do my own testing, and I test at about 3 or 4 meters. The manufacturer has tested 1 meter, and I find it's very unrealistic, right? So I sit back about 4 meters. I play the same track, and I go to Max DB. When I see the red light blinking, that's the number I write down. So going back to the JBL Partybox 110, here's a big downside on that speaker. It only goes up to 87 dB, and then it self-mutes. It doesn't even have a red light to blink. It just stops. It stops going any higher. So, like I said, I don't know. You can't. It's great for. It's a college student in a dorm room, a small room. It has that full range sound, great bass, nice mids, nice highs, but it doesn't have any volume. So I don't know why they really call it a party speaker. But like I said, 30 people or below, I guess you could do a small party. Mackie Thump Go. Different story. It has some good volume. Matter of fact, in my past testing, it's louder than a Bose S1 Pro by a good margin. That's why you might want to buy the Mackie over the popular Bose S1 Pro. So on the Mackie, I got 100.5 dB. That's good volume already. That's nice. Like I said, you pair it up with a subwoofer, very nice portable mini system. But here we go. Here's where the apples and oranges, where those people are saying you can't compare, AC only. The Yamaha, through the mixer this time, got 109 dB. That, my friends, is very loud. So for the people who, again, haven't watched past videos, let me explain to you about dB. When you increase from one speaker to another about 3 dB, that's about adding a second speaker. Okay, that's 3 dB. When you add 6 dB volume, max headroom, that sounds like, to your ear, perceives double the volume of the other speaker with 6 dB less. When you hit 10 dB, that is actually, scientifically, that is double the volume. So those are the specs. So when you go from 87, I'm talking about the JBL Partybox 110 to the Mackie, that is 3 dB difference. So it sounds like the Mackie is like 2 JBL 110s. So that's That's a nice bump in dB. But when you go from the Mackie, which is 100.5, to the Yamaha, which is 109, that's 8.5 dB difference. That's huge, okay? That's greater than your 6 dB perceived difference of doubling. It's almost at the 10 dB where it's actually double the volume. And then of course, if you compare the Partybox 110 to the Yamaha, that is 22 dB difference. That's, I don't know, that's like 4 Partybox or maybe more. So there you go. It really depends on you, the listener, what you're looking for. Of course, if you're watching this video, you're probably starting with price. They're all about $400. And then what's more important? Bass, mid-range, volume, portability, as far as weight, that's for you to decide. So I'm definitely not going to pick any kind of winner here. It really is up to your application. But personally, for me, I'm not using the Partybox too much. It's kind of sitting around because it's kind of big and bulky. It does sound really nice, but I don't have the volume I need, and it has the weight. It does have nice bass. I will pick up the Mackie, really nice and light, and has some really good volume, especially if you connect it with a subwoofer. But in my book, the winning star here is the Yamaha. And when I repurchased it, I had to wait. It was on back order. And that's surprising. This speaker, the Yamaha DBR10, has been out for 9 years. It came out in 2014, and the demand is still there. It's built like a tank, 7-year warranty. It has a fan. It has you can't hear it, very quiet fan. It has, your basic connections for instruments. It could be played in the monitor position. So to me, the Yamaha is really an excellent speaker. But it doesn't have battery, it doesn't have Bluetooth, and it does not have reverb. So you decide. Some people like myself, you might want all three. Okay, this is Bill. Hope you enjoyed this video. Ask any questions, I'll respond later.